please give a fantastic Ignite Expo welcome to the wonderful Steve Judge.
Come on, Great Britain! Go GB! This is me in China, Beijing, 2011. I've just done the World Championships in triathlon. To be honest, I've not done the whole thing. I've done the swim section, I've done the bike section, and now I'm on the run section. So I'm running as fast as I can. As I'm running along, I'm pushing it as fast as I can. I'm coming around the final corner, and that's where I can see the grandstand, the audience, and they're all shouting out my name. They're going, "Come on, Steve!" Which is amazing, because I hear my name being shouted, my legs go a little bit faster, and I think, this is great, this is great. The thing is, I started smiling because I was hearing my name being shouted, and then I suddenly realized that as I was smiling, I couldn't breathe as much, and that's not good. You know, when you're running, you have to do the breathing thing, and I was thinking, okay, Steve, stop smiling, okay, keep breathing, keep pushing yourself as fast as you can. And then I see that thing that I've been working towards for days, for weeks, for months, for years, the finish line, and now I'm getting really nervous. I'm thinking, oh my gosh, this is it, this is the finish line. I'm just thinking, okay, Steve, concentrate, stop smiling, keep breathing, keep pushing it, and I see the finish line, and I cross the finish line, and I'm like, yes, saluting the audience, like, yeah. And as soon as I crossed the finish line, I've got a medal put around my neck, and I've got the medal here, and I thought, wow, did I win? Did I win? Is it gold, silver? It's very shiny. I'm trying to read it. I'm trying to wipe the sweat, and it's got some writing on it, so I'm trying to read the writing. The thing is, it's all in Chinese, because I'm in China, and I can't speak Chinese, by the way, so I don't know what it says. So I'm looking on the back of it, and it's got more writing, okay? And it's in English, and it says finisher's medal. And I'm looking around me, and I'm thinking, well, yeah, everybody's got a finisher's medal. They're just finished. But then I realized that I was hugging this medal really tightly, because it meant so much to me. Not only was I representing Great Britain, and not only had I just done a triathlon, which is amazing in itself, but 9 years before I got this medal put around my neck, I'd been told that I may never walk again. And so that's the story, the journey that I'm going to share with you today. But I've been talking to the organisers. We have Paul and we have Tom. You can't see them, but they're down here in the VIP chairs. So I've been talking to the organisers, and they said, it's not all about you, Steve. And I said, I know that, I'm a speaker. It's about the audience, I get that. So I'm going to twist this round to the audience. So I've got a question to the audience. And my question to you is, what's your gold? Now, to me, GOLD is an acronym. There's always an acronym, isn't there? An acronym for what is your goal, your opportunity, your love, your dream. What is that thing? What's that thing that you really want? What is the thing that excites you? That thing that you're passionate about? What is that thing that you want? No, it could be business. We've got a lot of business owners here. In fact, most of the room are business owners, entrepreneurs. So you may immediately think about your business, your career, the money side of it, maybe the lead gen, the marketing, as we've just experienced. Lots of things going on in your business. What is it that you want to achieve in that? Do you want to grow your business? Do you want to help more people? Is it a service that you provide or the product? What is your goal within that? But then we also know that there's a crossover between business and your personal life. So what is your goal in your personal life? Is it to be a little bit healthier, a little bit fitter? Maybe it's to spend more time with your family. Maybe it's to go on holidays more. Maybe you even think about retirement, I don't know. But what is that thing that you really want? What is that thing that will get you out of bed at 5:30 in the morning, like a grasshopper, running around like Billy Whiz? What is that thing that excites you? What is that thing that you're almost nervous about sharing with other people? Because it's a crazy idea, that thing that you want. But actually, deep down inside, it's what you really need. What is your goal? What is your goal, your opportunity, your love, your dream? I want you to start thinking about what that thing is. Because as I go through the presentation, I'm going to give out some messages and some mantras, and I want you to adapt them and adopt them and use them so you can push yourself forward so that you can achieve your goal. Now, as we go through the presentation, it's kind of like going on a journey in a way. So it's like you need a compass, a golden compass, as I would call it. And there's 5 winning ways that I'm going to share with you so that you can achieve. If we just zoom in on this, you can see here we've got your golden vision, your golden soul, your golden gear, your golden gang, and your golden hour. Now, if you want to take photos throughout, that's absolutely fine, of me or the slides. If it's the slide, I'll pretend it's me, so that makes me feel good. But take photos, because I want to help you. So if you want to take them so you remember, go for it. The golden compass will help you on your journey throughout this, the 5 winning ways. I'm going to share them one by one as we go through the presentation. Now, before we go any further, I've been sat here all day and we've listened to some amazing speakers, and the audience have been a little bit less than this, but we've got a lot here now. So I want to re-clarify the 3 levels of applause before we go any further. Okay, so some people don't know what I'm talking about, so this is why we're going to clarify. Now, 3 levels of applause. There are 3 levels of applause. We're going to go through them. We're going to benchmark. The first level is something that you might find maybe at a cricket ground or something. It's very British. It's very polite. It's like a pitter-patter of rain. So I want you to put your hands together. Not yet. I'm going to count you down. I'll go 3, 2, 1, go, and then you do a pitter-patter of rain, level 1. Okay, you ready? 3, 2, 1, go. Beautiful. That's really nice. It's lovely. And that is the one that I've heard earlier today. So what we need to do is just crank it up a little bit to a level 2. Are you ready for the level 2? That's something you might find at a football ground, something with a bit more energy, a bit more upright. Are you ready for the level 2? I'll count you down again. Are you ready? 3, 2, 1, go! Woo, very good. We've got a whoop as well, which is really good. Okay, now, level 3. Because I did notice that some people were saving themselves a little bit, because you know what's coming. You know that there's a level 3. Okay, here we are, level 3. This time, you can go crazy, to be honest. You can whoop, you can cheer, you can pretend you're American, you can stand on your chairs if you... No, sorry, Kate is saying no standing on chairs. We have no risk assessment for standing on chairs, not standing on chairs. But you can still go crazy. What I'm going to do, I'll count you down again, but I'll go 3, 2, 1, and then I'll say gold. See what I've done there? Okay, so, are you ready? 3, 2, 1, gold! Okay. Very good, very good. Now, you might need that later on, because you'll be the crowd, the audience. And when I say the crowd, the audience, let's go a little bit further than that. So, let's split you into 2. So, we've got a line there. So, down here, team 1, you're going to be team 1, you're going to be team 2. Okay, team 1, as I come around the final corner of the World Championships, you are going to be shouting, go GB. Okay, are you ready? We're going to practice this. Okay. So I'm coming around the final corner, and I can hear the crowd shouting, go GB! Very good. Okay, team 2. Are you ready? Are you louder? Are you competitive? Can you do? Oh, hold on. Okay, I think that's a yes. Okay, so your role is you're going to be shouting, "Come on, Great Britain." Are you ready for this? Okay, I could also hear the crowd shouting, "Come on, Great Britain!" Very good. Now then, in synergy with everybody, please don't mess this up. It's quite personal to me, but you're all going to be shouting, "Come on, Steve." Okay, are you ready? Specifically, I could hear the crowd shouting, excellent, good. Well, now we've got that sorted out, we can just move on. I'm just going to sort this out. I'm going to get some tape off here because it's not quite working. Right, there we go. Okay, because we can move on now because actually the presentation is all about me. So this is me. This is me when I was a kid. I love to run. I'd run anywhere and everywhere. It's my freedom, my liberation. I just love to run. This is my family, my brother, my dad, my mum with the dog, my sister, and me. Running through the fields with my dog, I just love doing all those things. It's just amazing times. And the other thing I like doing as a kid was scouting. We've got any scouts here, ex-scouts? Yeah, or Browners, guides? Yeah, a few people. I loved it for the fun, the challenge, the adventure, the life skills, and the opportunities, and the badges. I love those badges. You can see this photo here. This is when I was about 10 years old. And I've got my Cub of the Year shield here. And I've got my badges here. Bronze, silver, and gold badges on the uniform. But look at this. The first 3 badges that I ever got in scouting were swimming, cycling, and running. What we do as children is a foundation for what we do later on in our lives. I love scouting. When I left school, I worked down the coal pits of Yorkshire. Now, I know what you're thinking. One of the tallest and poshest coal miners that you've ever seen. But I didn't like the conditions too much. I didn't want more for myself, so I took myself to Donny College, got trained up as a mechanical engineer, maintenance fitter, and I was still working down the pits. But now as an engineer, I was constantly being given problems and having to find solutions. And I like that. Not the conditions. I always got the hell out of there when I could. But I did like the job in itself as an engineer. So I did a lot of events with my dad, walking events and running events. But in 1991, my dad got diagnosed with cancer. And over the next 7 years, Well, I'd say that he never stopped fighting, and he never gave in. But eventually, on the 6th of June, 1998, he passed away. For me, I carried on running, because that was my thing. It's my freedom, my liberation. I just love to run. So this takes us all the way up to 2002. And I'm driving on the outskirts of Sheffield. It's a rainy day, similar to today. There's a lot of water on the road. And my car hit a patch of water, an aquaplane, and I lost control. Now, I wasn't speeding or anything like that. It was just a bad accident. I hit the water, it turned sideways. I was doing the brakes, nothing was working. Doing the steering wheel, nothing was working. I could see that I was skidding towards a pole, and I just had to brace myself, ready for impact. And then suddenly, bang! Help me! Help me! Somebody help me! I was stuck. I couldn't get out, and everybody came to save me. The police, the ambulance, the fire brigade, the paramedics. It took them about an hour and a half to cut the car apart, eventually reaching into the wreckage and dragging me out along with what was left of my legs. And they mercy dashed me. They put me in an ambulance, a waiting ambulance, and in the ambulance they gave me lots of blood and lots of morphine. They mercy dashed me to the hospital. And to be honest, I can remember the ambulance trip very clearly, because the other two guys in it, they were called Steve and Steve. So you can kind of imagine the conversation that you're having. Okay, they go, "Are you okay, Steve?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm good, Steve." They go, "Okay, Steve, we're going to go very fast, Steve. Okay, Steve?" I said, "Yes, Steve, that's good, Steve. And very safely, Steve. Okay, Steve?" "Yes, Steve. Good, Steve. Right, Steve. I like Steves. Okay, Steves are good. They saved my life. I got all the way to the hospital. I met my surgeon there. Didn't know my surgeon. My surgeon was called Simon. And he looked down at my leg and he said, "Okay, Mr. Judge, we're going to see what we can do, but we may have to amputate your right leg." Again, these are not words that I thought I'd hear that morning. I remember looking into his eyes and saying, "Please just do the best that you can." And with that, they took me off into the operating theatre to save my legs. But I later found that they lied to me that day, because it wasn't just my legs that they were trying to save, it was my life. And that's the message that my mum received that night. They really didn't know if I was going to come out of that operating theatre alive or dead. She then had to relay that message onto my brother and my sister, based down in London, who both burst into tears, not knowing whether they're going to see their younger brother ever again. The operation lasted about 8.5 hours. When I came to, I was terrible, in a really bad place. It was around this time when the surgeon was doing the rounds, and he came over to my bed, and he said, "How are you feeling, Mr. Judge?" And I said, "Not good." I said, "I'm disorientated, I'm in so much pain, I don't know what's going on." He said, "Look, I understand that, Mr. Judge, I just wanted to let you know that we did do the best that we could, and we did manage to save both of your legs. But I'm afraid with the severity of the injuries that you've sustained, there is a chance that you may never walk again." I think when somebody gives you information like that, it's like a fight or flight in a way. I mean, for me, I could have just rolled over in bed. I'm going, "Okay, I guess I'll never walk again." But for me, I felt really angry about this. Really angry that somebody had the audacity to say that to me. They didn't know who I was. And I remember lying there looking up, I guess this is the fight in a way, isn't it? I remember lying there looking up at the surgeon, thinking, "Who are you? Who are you to tell me that I may never walk again? I mean, your name's not even Steve." Because I like Steve's, but his name's Simon. What does Simon know? The thing is, Simon is a surgeon, so he does know what he's talking about. Let me try and explain. So, my left leg was just ripped apart at the knee. So the 4 ligaments, 4 big rubber bands that hold your knee together, they were just ripped out. And they dealt with that later. They put a plaster cast around it. My right leg was even worse. So let me show you with the aid of a prop and no mic. So if you imagine this is my tibia bone, and this is broken once, twice, leaving 4 inches of bone that's considered no good by the surgeons in the operating theatre, and consequently this part of the bone was just thrown away. So that left me with a very short leg. This is what I woke up to. This is held together with a big metal cage wrapped around it. It's going to be my responsibility, ownership, accountability to twist the nuts and bolts on the cage day after day after day, slowly stretching the skin, the muscle, the ligaments, and wrenching the bone apart to form a gap of 4 inches. That's what I needed to do to get my leg back to the right length. Because at that time, that was my goal. My goal, my opportunity, my love, my dream. Now, the next slide is a photo of the cage. I don't want anybody to pass out, so if you're a little bit squeamish, just look away. I'm a first aider. I have a badge for that. But I prefer not to use my skills as a first aider. So the next slide, look away if you're not too sure. But here you can see that's my leg, and that's the cage that was wrapped around it. Again, nuts and bolts on that I had to twist. I must admit, as an engineer, it's quite fascinating having that on my leg. But that's what I need to do, working towards my goal. Lots of things I had to do. And you may, as I'm telling this story, there's a lot that I'm missing out. You may think that I'm some kind of a Superman doing all of these things. It's absolutely not true. There were a lot of dark times. And I found this writing. I started writing a journal, a diary in hospital. And I found this note. This was 4 weeks after the accident. And it says, today was a good day because today was the first time that I didn't cry. That tells me 2 things. The first thing it tells me is that I cried every single day in my mum's arms with the question, why me? Why me? Why me? The other thing it tells me is today was the first time I didn't cry. That means that's acceptance. And once you accept the situation that you're in, then you can do something about it. And that's what I was prepared to do. I needed to take some action. I needed to have a vision. Now, we've heard some of the speakers today. I think, Ricky, you were talking about having a vision and focusing on that and, knowing what you want. It's really, really important. So I would call it a golden vision. Of course I would. But a lot of people focus on what they don't want to achieve rather than what they do want to achieve. So most people say, I don't want to be lonely. I don't want to be unsuccessful. I don't want to be poor. Where the focus goes, the energy flows. So by all means have that if it angers you and frustrates you and makes you kick into action, but only 20%. 80% should be what you do want to achieve. I want to be successful. I want to be rich. I want to be popular. I want to be happy. 80%. And sometimes you need help to do that. So I needed help. And I didn't know at the time, but I drew a picture. I drew a picture of what I wanted. I was still in hospital, and I drew this picture of me standing again, me walking again, my crutch just thrown to one side. And as I drew that picture, I got excited. I was like, hell yeah, that's what I want. I want to do that. Now, what I didn't realise at the time was I was opening up to my RAS. Do you know what your RAS is? I think we might have mentioned it earlier today. Your RAS is your reticular activating system. So imagine your brain. You get 20 million pieces of information going into your brain every single day. Sight, sound, smells, everything. Your subconscious hears it all, but your conscious can pick and choose. You can program your conscious as to what you see, what you hear, what you're focused on. That's your RAS. So that's what I was doing by drawing that picture. I was opening up to my RAS. Some people, this is where you start seeing the opportunities, but some people think that it's luck and it's coincidence. I don't believe in that. I think you make your own luck. There are opportunities that you've got to grab. Again, like I said, where the focus goes, the energy flows. That picture really helped me. But there's lots of things that I had to do. I had to do lots of things throughout my rehabilitation. One of the things I had to do was physio. Physio. Put your hand up if you've done physio. Anyone done physio in their life? Yeah, a lot of people. My goodness me. Isn't it the most boring, painful, monotonous thing ever? And you have to do it like 3 times a day or whatever the physio tells you to do. The things you've got to know why. Why? Why are you doing this? Why are you subjecting this pain on yourself? Why? That's your golden soul. This is number 2. Number 2 is your golden soul, is your why. Why are you doing this so much? So why do you want your gold? That thing that you're excited about, that thing that you're passionate about. Why do you want that so much? Because there's going to be some dark days. There's going to be some tough times when you're feeling, why am I doing this? Knowing your why will keep you going. Why did I want to stand again and walk again? I think that's really obvious. And so I was pushing myself through the rehabilitation. But I had to do lots of things. Apart from the physio, I had to grow bone. Now, I don't know about you, but how do you grow bone? I just thought you drank lots of milk, for the calcium, or ate lots of cheese. And the surgeon's always very official. He's like, no, Mr. Judge. He says, no, Mr. Judge, you don't just drink milk and eat cheese. He says, you've got to stand on your leg. You've got to walk on your leg. You've got to trust the cage. And I'm like, trust the cage? You trust the cage. But this is what I had to do. Now, where I live, Sheffield, very hilly. I needed somewhere flat. I found this place called Rother Valley Country Park. Put your hands up if you know Rother Valley Country Park. Fairly local people, this is great, good. So Rother Valley Country Park, I went down there, my brain screaming out to me, don't do it! But I knew that I had to. I got down there, nervous, taking the first step, with my crutches. The pain shooting through me, making me feel cold and lightheaded. Just seeing the people in the park, they go, what's this guy doing? He's crazy. But I kept walking until I couldn't walk any further. I saw that there was a park bench. And I sat down and I rested and recovered. 1 kilometre. 1 kilometre, that's all I managed. I used to be a runner. I thought, what's the point? This is a waste of time. This is useless. Why am I even bothering doing this? And then I looked down at my cage. I could see that all the pins were bleeding and the blood was dripping down and being soaked up by my sock. You know, I realised at that point that I couldn't have gone any further that day. I realised I'd been the best that I could be. I shouldn't be so harsh on myself. I also started feeling a little bit queasy and I had to get back to where I started. So I remember standing up and walking back, grunting out loud on every single step till I got back to where I started. Eventually I got back home. When I got back home, I collapsed. I was shattered. And that night I had a sleepless night with muscle spasms in both of my legs. The next day I was completely and utterly exhausted. And the day after that, I got up and I did it all again. Because that's what I needed to do. And sometimes I fell. And many times I cried. But eventually I got past that first park bench and onto the next park bench. And then after that, onto the next park bench. My question to you is, what are you doing? And seriously, what are you doing to work towards your goal? You know, that thing that you're really passionate about, that thing that you're excited about. What are you doing every day, week, month to work towards it? How are you going out of your comfort zone? You know, for me, session after session, I kept on pushing myself. I had this mantra going on inside my head. It's the first one I want to share with you today, about not leaning on my excuses instead of turning them into challenges. And I'll put it to you. The next time somebody tells you that you can't do something, is that true? Or is that an excuse that you're leaning on? Or next time you tell yourself that you can't do something, is that true? Or is it an excuse that you're leaning on? And if it is, I urge you to turn that excuse into a challenge and push yourself forward. And that's what I kept on doing, session after session, going down there. And eventually, after a year and a half, I got all the way around Rother Valley Country Park, 5 kilometres, and my bone, it did grow back. And I was able to be released from the cage. And I would say, on that day, I achieved my goal. Can I get a round of applause for that? Well, thank you for your level 2 applause. Just grown my leg back for crying out loud. Jeez. Tough audience. It gets better. There's more to come. So where am I? Should we just go through, because we don't really talk about the left leg. So the left leg. They did repair the left leg. I've got new ligaments in my knee, and they're ligaments from a pig. I don't ask too many questions, really, about what goes on. I did feel a little bit guilty having ham sandwiches for lunch, seeing as I'm part pig. And what a shame that the ligaments aren't from a racehorse, or from a gazelle, from the African plains of the Serengeti, or something like, I don't know. But yes, I'm part pig, like a Marvel character, pig man. So I've got pig ligaments there. My right leg is the right length, but in both legs, I have lack of feeling, lack of movement, and pain every day for the rest of my life. I suddenly realised that, my goal had been very much to get back to normal. I just wanted to get back to normal. And when I got to this stage, I suddenly realised I was very different to what I was before the accident. And so I had to start thinking about what I could do rather than what I couldn't do. I love this quote, that you can't always control what happens to you, but you can control how you react to what happens to you. And this is what I needed to do. But the message is to you is that there is no such thing as normal, as in to stop comparing yourself to other people, to your friends, to your family, to your colleagues, to celebrities. Everybody's different. And you've got to start thinking about what you can do rather than what you can't do and move on forward. That's what I was doing. I couldn't run anymore, but I could cycle eventually. I could swim, so I started swimming. I set myself little goals and challenges, and then I wanted something a little bit more. So I went onto the internet, and I typed in swimming and cycling events. And the only thing it came up with was this thing called a triathlon. I thought, oh, I can't do a triathlon, but I could do the swim and the bike, and maybe I could walk around the run route. Okay, and then finish, and then call myself a triathlete or something like that. But anyway, I scrolled down, and there's this thing called a paratriathlon. Triathlon for disabled people. And I thought, oh, I wonder, with my legs, I wonder whether I could classify as that. I went down to Loughborough University. They did an assessment on me. They asked me lots of questions, lots of physio. And at the end of it, they said, Mr. Judge, you are disabled. And I'm like, yes. I said, this is great. And they said, can you run? And I said, not yet. To be honest, running had been stolen from me for 7.5 years, but now I had a reason to get it back. I remember going back down to Rother Valley, this time with my running trainers. I remember standing there, and then eventually broke into a bit of a jog, and then a bit of a run. And my brain knew what to do, but my legs couldn't quite keep up. But I was running again. This is amazing. The thing is, the next day, I had so much pain that I couldn't run. And so I had to think about what I could do rather than what I couldn't do. So I went swimming. And the day after that, I still had pain, so I went cycling. And the day after that, the pain subsided, so I ran again, because I love to run. And that was my training montage that took me all the way up to my first paratriathlon. Now, my first paratriathlon happened to be at Rother Valley Country Park. Not only that, it was the British Championships. Not only that, it was on the 6th of June. The 6th of June was the exact date when my father had passed away. He passed away 11 years to the day. 11 years. When I got there, my race number was number 11. I just felt that my dad was going to be with me every step of the way. My mum was there, my brother, my sister, my family, ready to cheer me on. I get there, there's athletes, amazing para-athletes that have got missing arms, missing legs, visually impaired or completely blind, doing a triathlon, a para-triathlon. So we're getting to the lake, and we're waiting for the horn to go off. So swimming as fast as I can, all the way around the boys, swimming as hard as I can, high elbow, reach long, pull strong, get out of the lake, get the wetsuit off, put it in the box, and then onto the bikes. I'm now cycling along. We have to cycle around Rother Valley, had to cycle about 4 laps round. I'll just do 1 lap, otherwise we're going to be all day, aren't we? You want to go home. Right, okay, so we do 4 laps. I've wrapped the bike, and now I'm onto the run section. So I'm running along, and as I'm running along, I can see those park benches. The same park benches, and I can see an image of myself sat on them, in pain and in sorrow. And I thought, that's not me anymore. Look at me now. Look at me now, and I'm running as fast as I can. I'm pushing us under the tannoy system, calling me in. I can see the finish line, and as I'm crossing the finish line, I'm punching the air and drive, and I cross the finish line on that day to grab the gold medal! Woo! Woo! Level 3, excellent. And on that day, I achieved my goal, my opportunity, my love, my dream. It was a very emotional time, as you can imagine, all the things that I've been through, all the trials and tribulations. I remember being in tears and picking up my son. Oh my God, squeezing him like a teddy bear. He was in tears as well. I don't know why he was in tears. He's a toddler. Toddlers cry about all sorts, don't they? Probably lost his lollipop or something. Anyway, it was a very emotional time for all of us. And it was around this time where one of the officials came over to me and said, Mr. Judge, he says, congratulations, you are now British champion. He says, would you like to represent Great Britain? And I said, hell yeah. I said, I would love to represent Great Britain. The message here is about opportunities. Opportunities around us all the time. You've got to see them, hear them, smell them. And when you find them, do something about it. Grab hold of them with both hands and take action. I know you get this. This is why you're here. You know, Tom and Paul have set this up, and you turn up because you know that this is an opportunity to sell your business, to network, to meet people, to be inspired and motivated. You've got to keep going. You've got to keep looking. Grab those opportunities. Say yes and work out how you're going to do it later. Grab those opportunities. It's so important. For me, I was willing to grab the opportunity to represent Great Britain. But this was not going to be easy for me. So I'm working now full-time in health and safety and construction. I've got a family with 2 kids. And now I want to be an elite athlete in swim, bike and run. My alarm was set for 5:30 in the morning. That was my time. I'd get up early, I'd go swimming before work. Then I'd go to work, sit at my desk all the way up to lunchtime. At lunchtime I'd go out for a sneaky run through the Peak District maybe, back to my desk, working through the afternoon, get home from work, play with the kids, put the kids to bed, and then be out on my bike. Now I'm not saying I did this every single day. But I was always thinking about what I could do rather than what I couldn't do, working towards my goals. And it was going really well, representing Great Britain. I became British champion 5 times in a row. But I wanted more than that. I wanted a new gold. So I wanted to become a world champion. That's what I wanted. So I needed something to help me focus on what I wanted to achieve rather than what I wanted to avoid. So do you know what I did? I drew a picture. I drew a picture because it seemed to work last time. So I drew a picture of what I wanted. Look at this. I've got a bit more detail, a bit more colour. That's me crossing the finish line, big smile, and that's World Championships. And look at the crowd. The crowd are going nuts. Right? They're on level 3. They're whooping and they're cheering. And as I drew that picture, I got excited. I was like, yes. This is what I want. This is what I want. I want to become a world champion. So how do I become a world champion? Which brings us on to number 3, which is your golden gear. Your golden gear is all the stuff that you need to become or to achieve your goal. And it's one question 3 times. What more can I do? What more can I do? What more can I do? What more can you do to work towards your goal? For me, I'm thinking about speed, endurance, strength, everything. There's so much to do in triathlon, so much to do as an elite athlete. And it was going really well. I was representing Great Britain, the European Championships, but then disaster happened. I got beaten by the Italian. Ooh. Yeah, his name's not Steve. Oh, no. It's Mikel Ferran. Basically, he's a Paralympian swimmer. He swims like a fish. On that day, he beat me by 4 minutes. 4 minutes is massive. My race takes me about 1 hour 15. I couldn't even see him in front. I suddenly realised that for me to win the World Championships in 6 months' time is not possible. I had to reset my goals. My goal now would be to get the silver medal or the bronze medal. That would be my goal. That's what I would work towards. And then I realised what I was doing. I was leaning on my excuses. And so I needed to turn my excuses into challenges. And so I needed to get 4 minutes quicker in 6 months. Now this is not easy. I've just done a personal best. I'm smiling that I couldn't have gone any faster on the day. And now I need to go faster in 6 months. So I'm thinking how I can do that. What more can I do? What more can I do? What more can I do? Speed, endurance, strength, asking for training as much as I possibly could do. The thing is, as I was going through this process, I get into the start lines and I realised that some of my friends, my colleagues weren't even there. And I was like, where's Jack? Where's Lucas? Where are they? And somebody said, have you not heard? They're injured. They're injured. I said, I felt really sorry for them. I knew how passionate they were about competing at this race. And I suddenly realised that I could learn from what's going on with them. I suddenly realised that if I couldn't even get to the start line, I couldn't even compete. How does this relate with you? I know you love doing what you do. Your business, you're driven. Those early mornings, those late nights, burning the candle at both ends, pushing yourself, both physically and mentally. But if you burn out, you can't even get to the start line. You can't do the thing that you love to do. You've got to be thinking about your wellness and look after yourself. As an elite athlete, that's what I had to take on board. I had to have a day off training. I had to think about the whole injury prevention thing, the warming up and the warming down and the stretching. Do you know, injury prevention is the weirdest thing ever, because injury prevention, you don't see any results in injury prevention. You just don't get injured. But that's what I needed to do. Thinking about what all the nutrition, the mindset. I was doing yoga, I was doing Tai Chi, as well as the speed, endurance, and everything. But I suddenly realised how important it was to look after my wellness. Again, both mentally and physically. You know, wellness is very much about taking action so that you can take action. And it worked. I got to every single start line, which took me all the way to China, Beijing, 2011. Are you ready? Because this is your bit, do you remember? Go GB, come on Great Britain, come on Steve. Level 3, here we go. Right, okay. So we get all the way to the World Championships. Now you're probably thinking about the Italian. I certainly was. So the Italian, he did turn up, which is a shame. But I had a plan for that Italian. So the plan was, in the swim, there's not a lot I can do in the swim because he swims like a fish. But on the bike, well, there's not a lot I can do on the bike because we're about equal on the bike, as long as he doesn't go any further ahead of me. But on the run is where I'm faster than him. So on the run, if I could see him, I could catch him. And if I could catch him, I could take him. And if I could take him, I could keep going and grab that gold medal. Okay, so here we go. And this time it's all very official. They're going, representing Great Britain, Steve Judge. And I'm smiling and I'm waving, but I'm really nervous inside. So we get into the water. I'm waiting for the announcement. They go, on your marks. So swimming as fast as I can. High elbow, reach on the Italian, like a fish, he disappears off, I can't even see him. So I'm swimming all the way along. I get to the end, I take my wetsuit off, put it in the box. So I now grab my bike, so I'm now cycling along. As I'm cycling along, there's lots of different athletes in different categories. So I'm cycling along all the way around. And I'm not too sure who's in my category and who's in the other categories. So as I'm cycling along, I'm literally looking to see how many arms they've got and how many legs they've got. And going, no, let that one go, oh no, chase that one. So we get to the end. And we wrap the bike, and now I'm onto the run section, and this is where the plan kicks in. So I'm running along, and I can see the Italian, and I catch the Italian up, and then he pulls away from me. I'm not having this. This is my goal. This is everything I've been working towards, so I'm pushing as fast as I can, and I can see the finish line coming up. And as I'm coming up to the finish line, that's where the crowd is, the audience. As I'm coming around the final corner, I can hear the crowd shouting, "Go GB!" And I can also hear the crowd shouting, "Come on, Great Britain!" And then in synergy, everybody's shouting, "Come on, Steve!" And I'm smiling a little bit, but not too much, otherwise I can't breathe. And then I see that thing that I've been working towards for days, for weeks, for months, for years, the finish line. So now I'm pushing it as fast as I can, and I see the finish line, and on that day, I cross the finish line to grab the gold medal! Woo! And on that day, I achieved my goal. Whew. It was an emotional time. Everything that I've been through, from being told that I may never walk again, to getting into triathlon, to becoming champion of the world. It's just incredible. I retired after about 4 years, mainly because I was shattered more than anything else. And so, what's next? There's always a question with me. What's next? What are you going to do next? One of the first things I did was I went with my time. Now I wasn't training so much. Was I went back to scouting. Now as a Cub Scout leader, thinking about the new generation. Just wondering where those badges will take them in the future. For the fun, the challenge, the adventure, the life skills. Who knows? So doing that, but people said to me, "Steve, that's great, but how are you going to share your message of inspiration and motivation?" And I said, I was almost like in a Superman pose. I said, I am going to become a motivational speaker. And they're like, "Wow, Steve, that's incredible. How are you going to do that?" I stood in the pose. I said, I haven't got a clue. I had no idea how I was going to do this. But I knew by this stage that if I wanted something enough, then I would make it happen. I think this relates very closely with Paul and Tom, mainly Paul, who came up with this crazy idea of setting this event up. He didn't know how he was going to do it. He just said, "I'm going to make it happen then." He said, "Have you seen the place? Have you seen the venue? It's so big, it's so good. We're going to book out all the rooms. How are we going to fill it?" He says, "I don't know. We'll do it though. If you want something enough, you'll make it happen." And Paul and Tom have done that today. For me, I wanted to become a motivational speaker, so I set up on the circuit as it was. And I had this certain setup. I had my white shirt and blue jeans, and I was doing the whole networking thing. I met lots of people. I met this person called a stylist. Have you heard of the stylist? So the stylist, they look you up and down, and they look at your colours and your style, of course. And she said to me, she said, "Steve," she said, "I like your style, white shirt, blue jeans, it's like smart casual." She said, "But you'd look better in a blue suit." I said, "I haven't got a blue suit." She says, "Well, you should buy a blue suit." I said, "I can't afford a blue suit to start my business." She says, "Well, when you can, you should buy one." I said, "I'll tell you what, when I get a gig that pays enough money, I will buy a blue suit for that gig. In fact, I'll call it that gig my blue suit gig. My BSG, I'll call it my BSG, my blue suit gig." And she's like, "All right, Steve, whatever. I just said that you'd look good in a blue suit, that's all." But I know I wanted a goal, so now I've got a goal on my BSG. So I needed something to help me focus on what I wanted to achieve rather than what I wanted to avoid. So do you know what I did? I drew a picture. I drew another picture. It seems to work. But this time I drew more than one picture. I drew 2 pictures. I drew over this side of where I was. Okay, my white shirt, blue jeans. And I didn't want to be there. That kind of frustrated me. Okay, that propelled me. That's the 20%. But over here, the 80%. Oh my goodness, look at this picture that I drew. With the big stage and the big lights and the big screen. And look, I've got the audience here. And this guy, he's whooping his cheer. He's going level 3. He's going nuts. And I've got my blue suit on, of course. And, as I drew that picture, I got excited. I thought, hell yeah, that's what I want. I want to be a big stage speaker. That's what I need to do. The thing is, how do I get there? Which brings us on to number 4. Number 4 is your golden gang. I realized that every step of the way, every time I'd achieved taking myself up to the next level, I'd always have people around me that helped me. In the rehabilitation stage, I had the amazing NHS that saved my life and helped me through my rehabilitation, my golden gang. As an elite athlete, oh my gosh, I had so many people, that's me at the back there, so many people, so many practitioners that helped me cross that finish line to grab that gold medal. Physios, nutritionists, bike mechanics, coaches, so many coaches. Always had people. And now in my business, I also have my golden gang. People that have helped me to get to where I am today. Some of them in the room. We've got Paul and Tom. Oh, we've got Ricky there as well. Look at Sarah. Sarah's at the back. Sarah's in it. We've got Steve. Steve, you're in there as well. That's my stylist is there. Lots of people. My mastermind group. These people, in fact, I've got 2 screens because there's so many people. So many people have helped me to achieve in my business. But the question really is, who's in your golden gang? It's not only recognizing who's in your golden gang now, but who do you want in your golden gang? Who do you need in your golden gang to take you up to the next level? Think about who you want, who you could have. It was blue sky thinking. If you could have anybody in the world, who would you want? Start looking, start searching. LinkedIn, put a search in, ask people, tell people. Maybe that will work, and maybe you'll find them. Maybe they'll join your golden gang and help you. Like Ricky was saying, asking for help, reaching out. Maybe you want me in your golden gang. I'm on LinkedIn, of course. I'm all over social media. If you want to connect, let's connect. Let's see how we can collaborate, how we can help each other. I'm doing all of this. I'm doing the whole networking thing, with the lead generation, and then eventually I get that phone call. The first things first as a speaker is the date. Okay, the dates. Yes, I'm available on the date. Tell me more about the event. I said, that's a lot of people. Have you got a big stage? Okay. Have you got a big screen? You've got a big lights. Big lights, okay. Let's talk about the money. I don't really like talking about the money, but we're business owners. We have to talk about the money. I said, oh my goodness, I think I can accommodate that fee. I thought, this is it. This is my BSG. I was so excited. I put the phone down, and on the next day, I went out to buy my blue suit for my blue suit gig. But more exciting than that was actually the day of the event. Getting up onto that stage and standing in front of thousands of people to inspire, to motivate, to empower people to achieve the life that they want to live. And I would say that on that day, I achieved my gold. A round of applause, please. So where are we now? So what's next? It's always what's next, isn't it? What's next? So what is next? I guess this is where am I now, and that's doing as much as I can. My kids have grown up now. Yes, we still do a few triathlons here and there. I'm not a pushy parent, but they follow in my footsteps. Rother Valley, just in case you didn't notice it, my favourite place. I'm still a Cub Scout leader. I'm actually now the president of Derbyshire Scouts, so still helping the new generation in fun, challenge, adventure, life skills and opportunities. I'm also the ambassador for a charity, for Active Fusion, helping kids to be healthy, happy, and have fun, the values that I live by, and I love doing that. So lots of support there. I run workshops helping people with the 5 winning ways to unlock the power of their potential. I do a lot of coaching, whether it's speaker coaching or whether it's transformational coaching, again, helping people to achieve their goal, of course. Speaking on a lot of podcasts, getting my message out there far and wide. And people say to me, Steve, wow, how do you fit so much into your life? How do you do this? Which brings us on to number 5. Number 5 is your golden hour. We all have time. It's how you cultivate your time. That's what you achieve. There's only 24 hours a day, and it's really annoying. But how you cultivate that time, that's up to you. And people say to me, Steve, it's an amazing story you've got. Have you got a book? And I said, I haven't got a book. They said, you should write a book. I said, oh, I don't know how to write a book. They said, well, why don't you make that one of your goals? So do you know what I did? I did draw a picture, actually. So now I've got a book called Don't Lean on Your Excuses, aptly named, of course, and it became a #1 bestseller. And it was so successful that after that, I wrote another book. This one's called Gold. Of course, the 5 winning ways to unlock the power of your potential and achieve your goal. And do you know what those people say now? They say that would be a really good book to buy in January for the year ahead. But that's just their decisions. It's up to them, really. The thing is, it's an inspiring story. I think you'll all agree with that. And again, the question is, what's next? I mean, it's such an inspiring story. And the book is almost like a script. Do you think? Maybe a film? Should we do a film of my journey? Should we do a film? I'm on it, we're doing the film. Okay, so we're working on the script at the moment. We are trying to raise £15,000. If you do want to help and donate, please come and see me afterwards. You can be part of the film in some way, or get your name or your logo. That's what my goal is at the moment. My barriers, my hurdles, I'm not very good at asking for help, especially asking for money. So me standing on the stage asking for money is quite out of my comfort zone. But if I don't do it, I won't achieve my goal. And that's what it is. That's what I want to do. I want to help people, inspire them. But, like I said at the beginning, apparently today is not about me. It's about you. What's your goal? What is your goal, your opportunity, your love, your dream? What is that thing that you really want? What's that thing that gets you excited? What's that thing that you're passionate about? As I've been going through the presentation, I really hope that you've been thinking about it, you've been taking on board all the messages, because on your journey, there will be many hurdles, there will be many barriers. You've got to see those as excuses, and don't lean on your excuses, but instead turn your excuses into challenges. But more than that, you must always, always be the best that you can be, because if you do that, you'll have no regrets. And if you do that, I believe that every single one of you here today will achieve your goal. Thank you very much.